We are committed to building a strong and effective police department that enhances the resilience of both the Blue Lake Rancheria and the entire community.
My name is Kevin Miller, and I work here at the Blue Lake Rancheria for the police department, and I'm the new chief of police. I grew up here in Humboldt County. I originally got into law enforcement because I come from a law enforcement family. You know, I saw them come home with their cars and in their uniforms and all that stuff. I knew from an early point that that's what I wanted to do. I began my career in 1993 with the Trinidad Police Department. I worked there for some time, and then I left there to work for the City of Blue Lake Police Department, where I worked for another few years, and I was also a part-time deputy marshal with the county at that time too. So I worked those two jobs until I finally joined the Humboldt County Sheriff's Office in 1997, where I worked all the way, until I retired in 2023. So I did a lot of things. I worked patrol, I worked drug enforcement, I was on the SWAT team. I went up the ranks through patrol officer to sergeant, then to lieutenant. I retired as a lieutenant with the Sheriff's Office. And in that time I've commanded patrol operations both in the Eureka area and then also up in McKinleyville. The vast majority of my time actually with the Sheriff's Office is working in the north end of the county. And that's where I became familiar with the Blue Lake Rancheria, honestly, because part of one of my jobs was to be the tribal liaison officer. So that introduced me to the tribe and the other tribes in the north part of the county also. So, and then commanded our EOD team, so our explosive ordnance team. I was never a bomb tech myself, but I still managed the team and the actual technicians, so I did that for a period of time. And then I finished up there working for our professional standards division. So I did internal affairs, like citizens complaints, and also collecting all the stats for the federal government and for the state government, and all those requirements before I was offered a job here. And I decided that, this looks like a good career move, so I'm gonna retire with the county and come on over here. My experience here actually has been really, really great. Working for the Blue Lake Rancheria has been extremely rewarding. I love that everyone out here, they come to work and they like their jobs too, and that's just a great working environment.
So he already arrived, fully trained and ready to go with OES. He's a really even personality, years of experience in law enforcement, has a belief in community-oriented policing, been to the FBI Academy, right? So a lot of experience and a lot of know-how, a lot of connections with the Sheriff's Department. So that's really helped us in our relationship with the county.
He's competent, he knows what he's doing. This is a small department. As a result, every person here has to provide patrol duties and to answer for calls for service. He does it all, and he does it all well. And he came in, and with his arrival, he brought the management skills that are necessary for someone to run an agency. I don't care what the size of the agency is, you've got to have a competent administrator. And you have to know what it requires. Everything from whether correspondence, whether you're writing letters to somebody else, to knowing what training has to take place. These are all things that Chief Miller brought with him to this agency. We're very, very gratified to have him here. My name is Floyd Stokes. I am the lieutenant with the Blue Lake Tribal Police Department. I've been in law enforcement over 40 years. I started my career in the DA's office as a criminal investigator in 1977. And I was at the DA's office for 10 years. I've been a chief of 5 different agencies in Humboldt County and Del Norte County. Blue Lake Police Department, Trinidad Police Department, Crescent City Police Department, and Blue Lake Tribal Police and Hoopa Valley Tribal Police. And I was hired to form the Blue Lake Rancheria Police Department in 2016.
Floyd brings a ton of knowledge and experience to this job. He's the person that came to me and encouraged me to step into this role as chief, and because he was in the intern chief's position. And I was more than happy to keep him on board afterwards as my administrative lieutenant, because he's a wealth of knowledge, and I couldn't ask for a better mentor as a police chief than to have Floyd be that person, because he's extremely knowledgeable, extremely motivated. He has done a lot of things for this agency. He's done a lot of things for me that have progressed this agency in a really short period of time.
Floyd's done a great job. Floyd is a good administrator, a really good administrator. So when it comes to the operating procedures for police here, he's always on top of it. Good at finding quality deputies, tribal police officers, good at the training programs, good at building the infrastructure that you need to build in order to have a successful tribal police department.
So just going back to early 2023, when I was hired, I hired a police support technician who was responsible for cleaning up this department and making it a professional appearing as well as a professional working department. I needed someone with the ability and expertise to take care of all the details, and that's what our support technician has done. Everything from field testing drugs to maintaining training documents and paperwork to providing even patrol services. So our support technician has done a fantastic job.
She's extremely reliable, and she comes in and puts in, even though she's only part-time, she comes in and, from the minute she walks through the doors to the minute she leaves, she puts forth 100% effort.
You have to have good administrative support, and she's a person who's good at that. So she's always done a fantastic job of really supporting the effort.
We have a wonderful opportunity here. This is a beautiful office that we have, but we need to build it up. We need to get the infrastructure in, we need to get officers in, and so the reserves fill that gap right now.
We really do value our reserve officers. First of all, they volunteer, they're not paid, and so they give of their time and energies, even with their families, to protect the Rancheria. Our reserve officer program is essentially a force multiplier. We only have a few full-time paid officers, and what we have done is take qualified employees and members of the community to act as reserve officers. So they meet the minimum California police officer standards and training standards that any other police department requires. And these officers are called upon for emergency or disaster situations.
And as of recently, we used them quite a bit for a lot of things. And they've all stepped up to the plate and answered the call. And again, a lot of these people are doing it. My officers are doing this, reserve officers are doing this on their own time. And most of them are all family folks or retired or, but they come in and they give up and donate their own time, not just to the department, but to the Rancheria as a whole. So they are a huge part of the success of our agency so far. And moving to the future here, obviously, my end goal is to have full-time officers here, which we're moving towards. But the reserve program is still going to serve a purpose after that. Just because they, when we need more personnel in here for a natural disaster or for a special event, they're the people we call upon.
Grants are the life's blood of a lot of police departments, especially the smaller rural ones. And it's how that we can pay for our personnel, for example, to help us to pay a living wage to law enforcement officers who have a very vital job and a life-saving job.
So really building that up out here and being self-sufficient is really important. It's one of my biggest goals. You know, and it fits in line with the, what I've come to learn is a priority for the tribe in itself, which is to be self-reliant.
Being a police officer is a very laudable career, and it's tough to find people in this day and age who want to essentially sacrifice their lives to protect others. We're happy for the people that we have here and the service that we provide. It's a difficult time for police in the United States and the relationship with their communities. We're really gratified that we have an excellent relationship with our community.